Hello, everybody. I hope that you can hear me good tonight. I I am broadcasting from our RV in Tennessee. Let me go over and check my audio to make sure I got everything. I think I'm good. Um, Hope everybody's doing good tonight. Dina is not in their RV currently. She's at her daddy's next door, and hopefully she will join us. Hold on just a second. I just see her up there. Okay, how you doing, Dana? That you broadcasting, you are moving around a little bit, but that's Dina there. No, the camera's doing all kinds of camera's
It's
doing all
me.
kinds of stuff. Okay, I got you. Uh,
I can't
you're
see the
half.
people's questions.
You can't see their questions.
No, I can't
Okay.
see their questions, so it doesn't do me a whole lot of good to be on here.
Are
Let me
you
like
on
turn
YouTube?
the camera a different way. Hold on. Yep, I'm
Okay.
on YouTube. Hold on. Let me see if I go this way if I can see their questions. Nope.
Can't see them at all.
No, I can't see them at all. I couldn't. Listen, I couldn't get it on my phone on Champ's phone. Let me look and see if
Yeah.
I can get on YouTube if I can get on our thing and look it up that way. How's
Okay.
everybody doing tonight? Even if I can't see their answers.
I think if
I'm
you
at
could get
Dad.
if you could get your iPad to work, it'd work.
I don't think it will over here. You know how hard the stuff is.
If you tie it into
I
your
can't.
phone as a hotspot, it might.
Mm,
If you check your email.
mm.
Has anybody tried the juice she described? Did last week? I guess the day before yesterday. Anybody tried the? Yeah.
I drank it.
Nah, no, you did.
I did. I drank some this morning, remember?
Yeah, you're actually delaying you a little bit on your picture for some reason.
That's because I'm a delay.
Okay.
Oh,
Well,
hey, I can see. Okay, I can see their stuff now. I see it right there. Okay,
okay.
gotcha.
All right. If you got a question, ask her. We're going to talk about. We did attempt to get in touch with
Hey,
May's
come out.
May's May's parent, but
Thomas,
yes.
can we talk? Can I answer their questions about juicing first, real quick,
Yeah,
and then I'll go off.
go
Okay.
ahead.
So, someone the other day, if you could use a instead of a juicer, no, you can't because if you blend all that stuff, you will make it. You need a juicer. There was some other questions. There was a question that they're worried about their diabetes. My mother had diabetes and she drank juice. She gave herself a shot before she drank it because she was so afraid of all the sweets. It did not increase her at all. So she did juice and she didn't have any trouble with it.
But
Now,
you
that
might.
is something that if I check, well, they may want to try it out. Just try it out and see if there's a spike in their sugar or anything. But this juicing will help. It'll help you feel better. I really want to do a juice fast. Time I think about us doing one for 21 days, we've got something going on. Tommy's birthday's next week. We've got my daughter coming in. Just son in Nashville. Some guns on TV. My dad, he loves Gunsmoke. But is there any other questions on here?
Your voice is kind of. I can't hardly understand you.
Okay. Well, okay. It could be because the way the mic is. Says I didn't juice. She can't do it. T.S. Jackson said, I'm going to get some juice, let it sit for 4 days, and guzzle it. Only if you want to drop. Oh, I'm not a cat, says Rowan. Eat your fruits and vegetables. Eat your fruits and juice your vegetables. No, the juice isn't that good without the fruit in it. All right, they're having fun Rowan right now. Have, Miss Lisa says her birthday is on Sunday. Tommy's 16. Y'all want to plan him a birthday online? We'll plan for his birthday.
Not celebrating.
Yeah, you'll be 65. The big 60, you never get to
25 or
65.
40 years experience.
You're 25 to 40 years experience. Okay. That sounds good.
Okay.
Hey y'all, he said if anything ever happened to me, he'd get a year olds to take care of him. I've been wired for 220. I love that one. Look at him, he's just shaking. He knows it's true. Okay, I'm gonna let you talk to them about May, because May is important than us cutting up about juicing and stuff like that. Y'all, I will see you Tuesday night. We will be at home and it will be back to normal with Maggie bothering us. Of course, y'all don't mind her bothering y'all, but thank y'all for tuning in, and I hope y'all have a wonderful weekend. Bye.
Okay, well, that was interesting. Anyway, May, we've tried to get a hold of her family again, and they have not responded. Her family is doing this, I guess it was today, whatever President's Day was. Is that this weekend or maybe was it Monday? I'm not sure, because since I've been retired, I don't pay any attention to holidays. But they were going to search the sand dune area in I want to say it's called Grimes, maybe in California. There, it's a sand dunes area, and they were going to search it to see if they could locate her out there. Apparently, she had a motorbike or something where she wanted to go out and do the sand dunes too. So, anyway, they were going to search it again, but I'm in our RV, and unfortunately, I don't have the studio lights in here, so I do have a lot of glare and stuff in here. But just bear with me, because I wanted to talk about a few things tonight. One, we want to revisit Sydney West. This is her. She's missing. She's a Berkeley student. She's missing from Berkeley, California. We covered her about 2 or 3 months ago. I think I think she went missing in September, if I'm not mistaken. This is her poster here, September the 30th of 2020. Since her disappearance, there had been no activity on her phone, social media, or bank account. Our family is offering $10,000 reward for information leading to her whereabouts. She actually was last seen around the bridge there in San Francisco, the Golden Gate Bridge. No reason to think she would be suicidal. Been in the area. This is other than she does consider to be a risk due to depression. But listen, just because she's depressed doesn't mean she committed suicide. That's the one thing. And even if she was around the Golden Gate Bridge, and I know what that people say right off the bat, that well, she had to jump, but I don't think that's all 100% sure. Her parents don't feel like she would have committed suicide, and even though people jump off the bridge, a lot of times their bodies are found downstream. So I don't think that we ought to automatically assume that she was suicidal and she jumped off the bridge, even though she was depressed. I think depression probably, I've read somewhere depression affects 8%. I mean, 8 out of 10 people in their lifetime will get some type of depression. So just because you're depressed doesn't mean you're suicidal. Believe me, I know that for a fact, because I've been depressed in my life at times earlier in my career, law enforcement, different times. And it doesn't mean you're suicidal. I've never been suicidal. So and I know other people have been that way. It doesn't mean that you're going to go out and jump off a bridge. Another one that but if you know anything about her, if anybody's listening, knows anything about her, please contact the San Francisco Police Department and let them know if you see any sightings of anybody or know anything about her or saw her the night she disappeared. She was down in a club area, is the way I understand it. This is her thing again. And that's just believed that she was in the area, Christie Field near the Golden Gate Bridge. And I don't know where Christie Field is, but I'm sure if y'all live down there, you might know. The main one that I did want to cover tonight, though, and she's a Native American, and this is a kind of a real odd case that turned up, and I got to reading about this case. And this is basically, she talked to Dateline. They talked to Dateline, and Dateline put out a thing. Father pleads for help finding his daughter, Kimberly Iron, who left Montana home in September. She's 21 years old, left Billings, Montana on September the 22nd, 2020, leaving her 3 children behind. This is another one, a mother. Grandparents in Montana. She contacted her family from Las Vegas, Nevada, from Oxnard, California, saying that she was upset, needed money to get back home. Apparently, her boyfriend had gotten arrested or something like that. That's what I read in the report. Last contact her father, who lives in the Crow Indian Reservation, on October the 6th. But no one has heard or seen her since, and it's in Bighorn County, I think, Montana. The report, let me see if I can get back. This is one too far. The report here, though, says she grew up on an Indian reservation in Montana. Her father didn't. Her father said her daughter didn't leave the state. Didn't often leave the state, so he was surprised when he heard from Las Vegas. She was in Las Vegas. She went to Las Vegas with her boyfriend and some friends, but her boyfriend was arrested. Now, I don't know, what that's about. Said she called crying, really upset, said she was trying to get home, but she never gave her exact location where she was at in Las Vegas. I don't know if she was intoxicated or just really upset. See what it says here. Said the most recent call was placed on October the 6th. The number was traced back to Los Angeles area. The father said it didn't add up. She always was on speakerphone, and so people she was with, whoever it was, could hear everything she was saying. So, it was almost like she might be held against her will. And, but they haven't heard anything since that time. And everybody's saying she wouldn't leave her kids. Now, we've talked about that, wouldn't leave her kids, She was in Las Vegas with her boyfriend. He gets arrested. Now, they don't say much about him. They don't say if he got out of jail, if he was looking for her. They don't say anything. And then the next time they called, she was in Los Angeles. So, and she lives in Montana. Montana and Los Angeles are a good ways away. That's all of Nevada and up there. I would say probably, and maybe somebody correct me here, but that's probably going to be several hundred miles away. I'm thinking that's the whole state of Nevada away. And Montana, I have been to Montana. It's a beautiful place, but it's a long way from Los Angeles. I don't know exactly how many miles, but it's a long ways. Goes on to say that one of Kimberly's grandmothers, Marilyn Chief, which now he's Native American, told Dateline that Kimberly's family and her friends tried to reach out through her social media. She has responded, but it doesn't make sense. So somebody else may have her social media account to to make it, if something's happened to her or she's being held against her will, they may be impersonating her to make it sound like she's okay. Says they don't sound like her, is what they've said. We feel someone is messing with us. Her grandmother lives in Crow Indian Reservation, and she stepped in to help the suffering several losses of her own immediate family, including the unsolved murders of her brother, her son, and one of her grandchildren. And this is what they say, and this is the craziest thing. We've talked about this before. The life we live is on this reservation. We never get justice. And that's the one thing. They said, all we want is justice. They said, but we will still fight for it. And I think, and I'm not making excuses for the law enforcement in that area, but I think, one, they're understaffed. You have maybe one or two deputies or Indian on the Indian reservations to cover hundreds of miles, and they don't have the expertise that law enforcement has off the reservation. But see, this case should be different because she is missing and she's off the reservation. So, I would hope that local law enforcement would step in and do something about this. But it's just, you look at that. That in itself, right there. Let's go back to this. Maryland chief, who also lives on the Crow Indian reservations, told Dateline she stepped in to help after suffering several losses of her own immediate family. Now, you listen to this, including unsolved murders of her brother, her son, and one of her grandchildren. That is a lot of grief in that family, a lot of grief. And they want justice, and I want justice for them. The family and friends distribute flyers in the community and on social media trying to raise money to travel to California for a larger search effort. Her children, who continue to ask about her, are being cared for by their grandparents in Hardin. I guess it's Hardin, Oklahoma. Hardin, Montana. We just need to know she's okay, they say. They just want to know she's okay. And, she's 5'2", weighs 126 pounds, brown eyes, light brown hair, a small scar between her eyes. I guess that's right there between her eyes. Anyone might have information, contact the Bighorn County Sheriff's Office. Now, I think that may be Montana. I don't know what Bighorn, they're not really saying, but how can somebody survive that much grief in their family? Really, when you think about it, how can somebody survive that much grief and without any type of help from the outside? All these unsolved murders, their brother, their, grandchildren, everything. That's just, it blows my mind. Kimberly left Billings, Montana home on September 22nd, left behind her 3 young children with relatives. She's last heard from on October the 6th when he called her father from an unknown number in Los Angeles. I hope the Los Angeles Police Department could get somebody like working this case with some due diligence, because these people have seen so much tragedy. That family's so tragic. I just can't imagine that. It seemed like it's almost a curse on the family, but I don't know. Does anybody have any questions or anything other than, this is just, I wouldn't, I hope the FBI, since they left the federal reservations, I know the FBI can actually step in and work this case because they are Native American. I know that, especially because they're off the reservation in which this missing person case came up. But the problem is, right now, there's no crime. Even though the family wants to know where they're at, You know, as we talked about, it's not against the law to leave on your own, even though I think she's probably being held against her will. They need some type of suspicion of a crime to happen. You know, maybe they can. I just think the FBI could step in and at least look at it, you know? Any questions? I'll try to, if you type them like in capital letters, I'll try to read them since Dina's not available to help me out here. Everything's delayed. If I say something here, it really doesn't come out to you till about 3 or 4 seconds later. So your comments or questions will be later in the reel as I watch them. But if you've got a comment or question or anything, I'll see if I can answer it. At least give a little bit of an opinion. But you know, it's very sad. And one thing I would really love for them to have something, you know, some type of investigation on this and find out about her, you know, where that phone call was made. Yeah, there are thousands of Native American missing between here and in Canada, right? It's in like it's basically the modern day Trail of Tears up there in Canada. They got all kinds, and especially on the way to Alaska, that one road there, they call it Trail of Tears. But I think, you know, I think one problem is, and like we keep talking about, there's just not enough law enforcement on reservations that have the expertise to work a fully involved missing person case. There's not. I mean, I know that there is limited staff of Native American tribal police. I know that because we actually have the Porch Creek Indians in Alabama that have a couple of large reservations where they have casinos on, and the tribal police are always advertising for law enforcement help. You know, as far as wanting officers to come join their force. And they said, of course, number one, they give you number one choice is if you're Native American, but they will hire you even if you're not. But I think it's just I don't know if the pay, because these casinos got tons of money. They offered, and I'll tell you what they did. The Porch Creek Indians offered to pay the state of Alabama's debt off to get their budget completely zeroed out if they would allow them to be the only gambling in Alabama ever. And, you know, kind of like a monopolize something. Of course, they wouldn't do that. But that's how much money they have, though, you know. But so I know they got those where there's a casino, they probably got the money to hire the right people. But in some of these bigger reservations out in Utah and Montana and Arizona, there's no casinos out there. Or if there is, they're in just a small portion of the area of the reservation. You know, they're in, there's one huge reservation as you cross into Arizona from New Mexico. And I think some of the national parks, like the one that has the petrified forest, it's inside the reservation. All the Monument Valley that all of the movies, all the cowboy movies that John Wayne and all those were filmed at, that's a whole Indian reservation up there, Monument Valley. It starts at the Arizona-Utah border in the southeast corner. Huge reservation, and there's no casinos out there at all. It's just huge. It's just desert, basically. Some of the reservations are very poor. Most of them are poor. I tell you, if you ever had a chance to go out to the Southwest, like we were in Arizona, we were driving, we were staying in Williams, Arizona, and we were driving to the Grand Canyon, and you drive through a huge reservation, And you see absolute poverty, because one problem is and I forgot how statistically, and you can look it up, but uh, there's alcoholism and drug use in the Native American population because it's lack of jobs. Jobs are hurting out there. They'll have on that road to the Grand Canyon. You go through a total Indian reservation, and there you'll see pull off spots where they're selling their wares, beads, and all kinds of airheads they're making right now. You know, they'll make airheads. You can't tell the difference in them. And then, but you'll see trailers and small rundown, like adobe shack. It's sad. It's truly sad, the type of living, the place they're living when, you know, uh, even in that back then, my RV would cost more. I would spend what I spent on this RV. I'm sitting there, people don't even have that much money to buy a house out there, and it's crazy. It really is. Poverty, alcoholism, drug use. That's two things that I've heard that it runs rampant, and unemployment runs rampant on the reservation. And I think, I personally think America really owes the Native Americans something because they made a lot of promises and didn't deliver. And uh, it's just not a lot of support for, here, I'll get on my soapbox just for a minute. I think that we are supplying, and there's nothing wrong with people that want to come to this country legally through the proper means. Okay. I have no problem with that. My daughter got her naturalization when she was about 3 years old. She's a naturalized citizen. We went through all the process, a legal app to do this. Okay. The Native American, but our country's just giving them so much, people in this country, so much free stuff. Why not help the Native American out too? It's kind of dropped the ball on that aspect. In my opinion, they've dropped the ball. Beauty for Ashes, thank you very much. We really love our new RV, and it's not new, of course, 2014, but it's new to us, and we really love it. It's all happening, no problem. I appreciate you being here. We're broadcasting tonight from the RV. It is cold in Tennessee. I just want to say that. It's been cold, rainy, dreary, muggy day to day. It's been, foggy. It's been drizzling. They calling for snow day after tomorrow. They're calling for it to be cold, really cold, and we're actually going back down in Alabama tomorrow. But we're leaving the RV up here again for at least another week till we can move it back down and do some work to it ourselves. But I appreciate that. I appreciate that, Beauty for Ashes. Thank you very much. If you want to see more about the RV and what we plan on doing in that section of our life, you can go to our other channel. It is the 1 million mile road trip, number 1 million mile road trip. And I've got this right here. It shows a little bit of it. We usually put a video out on Sunday. This is our channel here. We've got a bunch of videos right there now. I'm embarrassed about some of them because they're just horrible. Some of them are horrible, but I'm learning. We're all learning. But that's our channel, our other channel, and we hope when we start traveling full time, in which that will be probably in probably April, March or April, depends on the sale of our house. Then we hope to have some good stuff so that so that you'll maybe enjoy and see how our life is and our dogs and everything. We don't have the dogs up here this weekend. They're staying with our friend Michael at our house. It was supposed to rain and it did all day yesterday, so we didn't want to get just all that tracking in the wet feet and everything. We'll deal with that when we're living in full time. But yeah, a little glare tonight. I think what I'll do for now, and I'll probably get one of those lights I have in my bedroom and put it up here and turn these off and see if I can eliminate the glare, especially when we're traveling full time. The biggest part of that is just storing all that stuff when you're not using it. That is the yeah, no dogs tonight. They're at the house. I tell you, they would have been miserable because they wouldn't have been able to get out all day. I mean, you just don't. It's been cold up here and it's been rainy and it's just mushy outside. It would have been this floor. I would hate to see it. I would hate to see it, but I hope everybody's doing good. I hate to end it so soon tonight, but I'm surprised the internet has held up so much. But yeah, we are. I'm going to do a full tour of the RV pretty soon. I did somewhat of a tour a little bit as we were buying it. I walked through and had a little video. Any updates? No, I did check about the Cali kid, the Tollards, and no new information on that other than they're coming out right now. The news is reporting that they have asked a lot of people for polygraphs. They haven't said that anybody has taken them or the results of the polygraphs, but they did say that they have asked the parents and other people. They haven't said who to do a polygraph, so at least they are doing that. Hope that they did get some polygraphs. Max, what were you saying there? Or maybe are you talking to me or somebody else? Of course, we always want to bring up Susan Morphew. Her case is 9 months old right now, a little over 9 months and a few days old. It was 9 months old 2 days ago. 9 months and nothing. And that's very sad. That is 9 months and not a single arrest, not a single. I honestly thought it would be an arrest in a couple of months. I really did. And I still think that they would have enough, I think, to put it before a grand jury and just let the grand jury hash it out, let them say. Have you heard anything about Leah Cabot? No, I looked on the website the other night, and as far as I know, as far as what I've heard, they have not found her remains. I know they did check the large garbage dump site down there, and as far as I can tell by everything I'm reading, they have not found her. And if anybody has any information that I do not have, please bring it up, because I looked and I do not see anything where they did find her. Madi, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Others, I try to go back and look as much as I can on the ones that are even 2 and 3 years old out there, or even 10 years old, and there's nothing, nothing at all. Now, there was a couple of missing person cases that I looked at today and I was going to mention tonight, but they have convictions of people that have been convicted for their murders. So basically, they haven't found their body. That's all. How's Ralph? Ralph is in rehab now, so he is out of the hospital. Praise God. He is in rehab, and I asked Medina, I said, why is he having to go to rehab? But basically, he's just been in the hospital bed for so long that they want to make sure that they can strengthen his legs and upper body and walk him around a little bit and just have some supervision around him. Make sure he doesn't fall and hurt himself again. But he's doing good, and prayer works. Absolutely, that was answer to prayer. I'm telling you, for someone that came at death's door basically, and prayer works. No doubt there. No information on Echo Lloyd at all. Nothing. I have heard nothing. It's like radio silence. Um, I don't know where that is, but it's not promising. I want to tell you the things that I've heard are not promising. I haven't heard anything positive. If they had found her or have information about even her where she is. But the only thing I've heard is that the information coming out of there is not positive, and of course they have not found her in any way. um uh yeah, Laurie, I agree. But I kind of think there may be some, what I'm hearing is that whole area is eat up with drugs up there, and it'd be easy for her to maybe got involved in something or possibly saw something she didn't mean to, need to see. But it's a very strange situation anyway. But again, you get into a situation that you probably have a smaller police departments that are um, not able to solve the crime, as you say. Um, Trying to read some of these as they're rolling up on here. I'm going to try in the next week or two is go through as many as I can. The problem is a lot of times I don't include all of the names like who we're talking about, but I'm going to try to remember as much as I can and just go back and really search them out. The only ones I know that we have found, and unfortunately they have been found deceased, with the girl in came out of Alabama and around the Georgia line. They found her car in the woods, and she'd been there for a long time. That was just a weird situation. I think they called it suicide, but I just like that girl out of that preacher's wife. You'll never convince me that was a suicide. No way. I'd have to talk to the investigators and see what's going on. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it for the early birthday wishes. I'm trying to forget that date, really. Uh, Natalie Jones. Yeah, Natalie Jones. I mean, she texts her mother and says, I'm here. What is she saying? I'm here. What's that about? I don't know. It's just a lot of stuff in that situation. Um, Yeah, but you will never, I don't know what it is, but I would really love to talk to the investigator that found that girl, the preacher's wife over there in Memphis, backed her car up into that shipping container. You'll never convince me that was suicide. Never. They'd have to sit down and talk to me and say, no, let me show you why it's a suicide. This is this. I don't see how that could be done, but that's, what I've seen anyway. Um, yeah. Mm. Celebrate our survival on Earth. Yeah. It's weird. Somebody asked me the other day, said, what, how do you, what age do you look at? Did you, when you were young, when you're trying to, Beauty of Ashes. Thank you. I appreciate it. When you were young, how long did you think you would live? when you're real young, what did you think? I always thought 65 was ancient. You had a wheelchair and a cane. But I really honestly didn't think I'd live past 45. I thought I'd be killed in law enforcement. I don't know, it's a weird thing to say, but it's always felt like that I wasn't going to get out of there alive. And I don't know why that was. That was one of my very younger days in law enforcement, but there was just a weird kind of feeling that I had. It was one of those things that I knew guys that got killed, and it's just, I don't know, it's just a weird thing. But now that I have passed those days, I'm hoping I live as long as my dad did. He was 91 when he died, but who knows? We got to be ready either way. You know what I mean? Uh, Good evening, Sharon. Glad you're with us. Uh, uh, oh yeah. Listen, I love my retirement. I worried. They say a lot of people die within a couple of years of being retired because they don't know how to handle it. They don't know how to um, be retired. And you look at a lot of people, it's weird how many, they'll retire and within a couple of years they're dead. And I don't know why that is, but I'm very pleased with the fact that I've been retired like 9 years. So I plan on sticking around now for sure. 100 years old for you, Mr. T. Well, Lisa, if I could feel like good, then I wouldn't mind, but I don't. I don't want to get where I'm bedridden or something like that. That'd be bad. But I tell you, when we were traveling around and seeing the sights and enjoying the RV and the full time lifestyle before when we did it, I met a lot of people in advanced stage that were you would know it. It's really weird. I know I told you once before, but I'll tell you again for people maybe didn't know or didn't remember it. We were in the back of Cracker Barrel in South Dakota, I think it was, and we had the dogs outside the RV, and a big $1.5 million Prevost pulls up behind the Cracker Barrel. Hello, Melinda. Good to see you. I have not seen you in a while. I was worried about you. And I got talking to the guy. He got out. He looked older than me, and I asked him, "You don't mind me asking, how old are you?" He said, "I'm 91." So he was traveling around the country at 91, and he was driving a $1.5 million Prevost. I hope you're doing good, Melinda. I haven't seen you in a while. Medical issues, yes, please let me know. Let us know too how we can pray for you for sure. Um, it's been we were just talking. Well, we're in good shape right now, and Ralph, our cousin, is in rehab now. He's in. They're getting him back where he can walk on his own and get some strength in his lower body, but he's doing good. He's out of the hospital. That's the main thing. Uh, um, Not COVID. That's good. That's real good. Um, yeah, I'm waiting for the herd immunity. When uh, they said if so many percent get the shot of the vaccine, that it'll pretty much be the herd immunity will be here and it won't be a threat anymore. Wouldn't that be something? Um, Echo Lloyd, were you talking to her? We were talking that I didn't know any type of information else on it, that it was kind of been radio silence. I haven't heard anything. Have you heard anything new on it? Yeah, I don't know anything else about Did anyone get the vaccine yet? I don't know. I am going to take it as soon as I can if they'll let me. I know it's mixed feelings about a lot of people in the vaccine because a lot of people feel like they rushed it. Personally, I'm going to take it. I feel like get something else kill me for it would if they did rush it. But my father-in-law just is taking his second dose in about a week from now. I'd like to take that Johnson and Johnson where you just get one dose. Wow. Glad your dad's still alive at 87. That's awesome. I tell you too, if your dad's still alive at 87, listen to his stories. Tell him you love him every single day. Give him a hug for me too. It's just that's a great age, and I hope he lives longer life. Mom's 75 and had a bad reaction to the vaccine. She can't use her legs very much, and her heart feels juggly. We absolutely will. Liza, is it Liza? Had she had any bad reactions before on anything else, or was this the first? Are they treating her for this or him? My mom is 75 and had a bad reaction. I guess she can't use her legs very well. Her head feels jumbled. Her head, okay. Absolutely, we will. And I'll tell Dina to be sure to pray for her also. Well, I know there have been some reactions, but there's been millions of people that have taken it without a reaction. So I don't know. Yes, MH, absolutely. I'm telling you, there wasn't a day go by that when my dad was living with us, I didn't tell him I loved him. Second World War on a Greek island. Also, my dad was in World War II also. Yeah, amazing stories he used to say. Mom's 98. Linda, I didn't know your mom was 98. Good Lord. Had a pacemaker put in 97. Oh, passed away 3 years ago from pacemaker not working. Oh, that's awful, Melinda. I didn't knew that. That's awful. I tell you what, World War veterans, World War II veterans, they have stories to share, that's for sure. Well, that's the problem though when they're in your latter years, your 80s and 90s. It depends on if they were to get the COVID, they would probably be fatal. So I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry, Melinda. I didn't know that. Mediterranean diet. Yeah, I could probably do the Mediterranean diet, I guess. I need to get some type of diet for sure. COVID is not doing me any good. I just can't. It's just too tough this time for some reason. 98. I had no idea, Melinda. Wow. You had her a long time, though, for sure. But pacemaker not working, that is wild. Yeah, that's one thing, MH. I tell you, we had a tape recorder set down there, and we used to listen and get tapes of of my dad talking about stuff. He didn't really talk about the war until he got real older. And then he told us about some stuff in the war. But I did take him to see Saving Private Ryan, and he cried the first 45 minutes of the movie. Absolutely cried. Tears running down his face. Yeah, I agree, Melinda. Absolutely. I agree. Yeah, I saw that nun beat COVID 117 years old. Man. Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's weird. When I was younger, I thought my dad didn't know anything when I was growing up, teenagers especially. As I got older, I found out he's right about everything. I wish my kids would feel that way now, but unfortunately, you know. No, Katie, we just covered that a few minutes ago. There's nothing. She's been missing 9 months. Nothing. We're waiting for this new DA to do something, but longer. But I give the DA. It's going to take her a couple of months to get kind of set up for sure. Yeah, Sharon, I understand where you're going because I know people that they've died of other stuff, and they've covered it as COVID. Yeah, I'm just telling you, I can speak from the heart here about older parents that are like very elderly, and if you got contact with any of your parents, I don't care how old they are, but tell them you love them every single day, and give them a big old hug before they go to sleep at night, because you just never know how long you got with them. My kids, when I talk to them, they always tell me they love me. Every one of them tell me they love me. I don't care. They can be mad at me. They'll still tell me they love me. Yeah. I don't know, Sharon. Right now, I'm leaning towards getting the vaccine. Uh, uh, Yeah, unfortunately, one of the big problems they have with the vaccine in America right now, as far as in the early days, where hospitals were getting $35,000 per patient, and so a lot of people that were getting killed in motorcycle accident, and they test them, and they had COVID. They put down died of COVID, basically. I know this for a fact. I know somebody that actually did have their brother die, I think, of a motorcycle accident, and they said he died with COVID, but it counted as COVID death, and it was kind of weird, but still, it's just, I don't know which vaccine that they are going to give. That's a problem here right now. They got 3 vaccines that they're giving. You may get the Pfizer, you may get the Moderna, you may get, they may give you the Johnson Johnson or whatever. I don't know. I'm not crazy about taking the Pfizer vaccine because they've given so many people have had reactions from it, but I probably would take the other one. I haven't taken a flu shot either, but I got the flu, and I'm going to tell you, I don't want the flu again. It was bad. I honestly believe I had COVID at the same time or right after it, because my doctor said she thought I did too, but who knows? Alex, is that Alec Alexandra. Is that Alexandra? You have to forgive me because I can't. This really small print right there because I don't have Medina on here tonight, so she's not reading the names. But I welcome everybody. Welcome. Yes, welcome. We're not really talking about anybody per se right now. We've got into a little bit about COVID, but Melinda, have you got any information on echoloid at all that you can share? I know that you mentioned her as you came on. Don't know. I really believe that echo is in an area up there that the problem is. Melinda, do you have anything we can share on echo? Oh, absolutely, MH. We'll do it for sure. Okay, that's fine. Well, as long as we know that things are happening around that case, I understand. Yeah, that's unfortunate. In a lot of these missing cases that we're talking about on here, that unless and you just don't, unless it's just a runaway or something, there's very few and far between that come out positive. And it can be it can be disheartening for sure. Yeah, I think they're going to find Echo. I hope, unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be a good outcome, but I think they're going to find her. I'm hoping that the people that are responsible for her disappearance get caught. That's the only thing. Uh, Bigger picture than you think, and she was another victim. Yeah, I think too. Maybe somebody with a little bit more authority up there, maybe the FBI or something, to get involved in that up there. If what I think may be going on goes on. Well, I think meth and that, talking about asking her if about a meth dealer. I think that whole area up there is eat up with that drug, and also as much also as opiates. Is big time up there too. But you got to remember now, I live in a place called Meth Mountain. Used to be that was the actual thing how I knew the area. They called it Meth Mountain. It's really Sand Mountain, but they called it Meth Mountain. And why? Because at one time it was one of the main locations where meth was being made, sold. But right now, a lot of that stuff comes out of Atlanta. It's just they can buy it in Atlanta cheaper than they can make it, you know. But when I say I live on Meth Mountain, everybody says, "What?" But it's because methamphetamine was so prevalent up there at one time. It was just, you can't imagine. It was you had rural environment. You had a lot of farmers. They had a lot of um, um, you had a lot of anhydrous ammonia being used in labs. Did they find? You said, Melinda, you said the FBI did an internal investigation on the sheriff, chief, and former DA. Did they come out with anything, any indictments or anything? So she might have found out something or got roped into something and it paid a bigger price. Well, I can tell you how meth can be so big that law enforcement can't get a handle on it. Okay, one of the largest meth labs ever discovered in the United States came out of Atlanta. It was a super lab, and I'm talking about huge. The problem is with methamphetamine, it's a homegrown drug. It's not a lot of it that comes now. It comes out of Mexico a lot. They have super labs down there, but it can be made by and I use the word loosely, redneck chemist. You can find out how to make meth on the internet. And a lot of people that are in the meth trade have got cooks. They're cooks everywhere. But there's drugs, when it can be made for just a little bit, they'll arrest them. They'll make just enough to use themselves. They don't make enough to sell. If they have a big lab to sell, that's when usually they get busted. But drugs are prevalent. They're everywhere. I mean, I was in the narcotics for over 20 years and fighting battles of narcotics and drug abuse. You're not going to end drugs unless you have eliminate the buyers and make the punishment so hard that the dealers that really deal the drugs don't get out of prison. You're just not going to do it. The money's too good for these people, and there's not much deterrence, to be honest with you. Oh, wow. The sheriff. I'm going to highlight this so y'all can read that if you didn't follow her conversation there. Wow. I hope the FBI can get involved in that, Yeah, I hope the FBI can get involved for sure. MH, that's great. Awesome. Well, I used to drink in college, but I haven't, maybe a glass of wine every other month or so, maybe if that. I haven't drank anything pretty much in about 4 or 5, probably anything to mount anything in 20 years or more. And the occult, wow. Um, yeah, I agree. More drug rehab and mental health treatment. That's right. I guess y'all heard that. Oh wow, Melinda, that's something. I guess y'all heard about Oregon, and I haven't heard anything else about it. They passed a law in Oregon that said all drugs are legal. It's a misdemeanor, basically a ticket if you get caught with heroin, up to 6 hits of LSD, 4 grams of heroin, PCP, all that kind of stuff. It's just a misdemeanor. Wow. Well, I hope they have some closure to Echo's case sooner than later. But when you do like that with hard drugs, Yes, it's all about the money. It is. I mean, somebody's getting rich there. I mean, in Alabama, if you get caught with 4 grams, and that's a small amount of heroin, you get charged with trafficking, and it's automatic 5 years in prison, 5 years minimum. And it's the fines just go up and up on the amount of drugs. 4 grams. But Denver's passing that law as well for hard drugs. I know that Denver, Colorado was looking at passing mushrooms, hallucinogenic mushrooms as being legal, but I didn't know that was. I don't think the federal government's going to ever legalize harder drugs. I could see them taking away marijuana, but not other than that. Oh, wow. My highlight to you, Melinda, and y'all see what she's talking about? The little 4-year-old girl that was beaten and drowned in December was the same county as the sheriff. Wow. There's a special place for the people like that. Beach bum. You remember at least half of that decade? Well, back in the 70s, basically, I know some of y'all, most of you probably weren't born then, but in the 70s, in that I did smoke marijuana, but thing is, marijuana back then was only like 8% to 10% THC. Now it's like 60%. So there's a big difference. Hey, let's not get into an argument about the virus. I mean, the vaccine, please. I'm of the impression that I do want the vaccine and I am going to get it. I believe that it will keep, if enough people get vaccinated, that it will end the virus in the United States, at least like they did with polio and other things. So, but that is everybody's own choice. You know what I mean? So let's don't argue about it, please. FBI already involved, kicked it up into high gear, and the sheriff is taking up for those. Wow. Well, maybe they'll get a federal indictment, you know. Okay. I don't know about all these mushroom stuff. I've heard of people just, I mean, I've seen people on mushrooms before, and it's pretty scary. Linda. Well, let me tell you, I had the opportunity back when I was a little younger, my teenage years, to do other drugs. I just didn't want to do it. I saw my friends do them, and they acted really scary, so I didn't do it. But I did smoke marijuana. Not like every day, but I did. I had friends that smoked it constantly. The new DA in the Morphew case, nothing yet. And I'm just, you got to understand though. Somebody comes into a new DA's office, and they set it up, and they having to do everything from scratch. It's it may take a couple of months, for them to get their feet wet. Netflix crime scene vanishing at the. Yeah, I saw that today. It's number 1 on everybody's watch list. I think I might take a peek at it. See what it is. Yeah. Mushrooms grow in cow patties. I don't think that's the same type of mushrooms they're talking about. Yeah, I agree, Melinda. I agree with that. Yeah, I agree. Sheriff Grady Judd. I wish he'd run for president myself. Great sheriff in Florida. In fact, I had actually wrote him, got on his Facebook and talked to him and told him how proud I was of him doing what a great sheriff he was down there in Florida. And he's just awesome. He's awesome. They had a shooting where a police officer got shot and they chased the guy out to the swamp and they shot him like, I don't know. They shot him like 29 times. They finally killed him out in there. It was like they had a big shootout, and the press said, "Why did they shoot him that much?" And the guy said, "All those times." And he said, "Well, they shot him till they ran out of bullets or something. That's all the bullets they had, or something like that." The guy is just a good sheriff, though. He don't take nothing, and he just does just a great sheriff. Um. Okay. Oh wow. Yeah, Melinda. I tell you, I would give anything we get your daddy on here sometime and let him come on live and he could answer some questions about this stuff. Awesome guy. I'd love to meet him. I tell you I would. Well, listen, it is an hour and 13 minutes. I'm surprised my internet has lasted this long. It's actually kind of fading in and out here on my end. It's kind of flashy on my screen. Remember, if you got elderly parents, grandparents, give them a big old hug. Tell them you love them. You just never know how long you're going to have them with you. You know what I mean? And it was great hearing MH. It was great hearing about yours. And I'm sure that, man, I could sit down and listen to stories they tell, just like Melinda. That would be great. Just like Melinda's dad. Unbelievable career in law enforcement. Great. Unbelievable. Just really, he needs to write a book. I tell you, he could probably write a #1 bestseller for sure. We'll see you on Tuesday. And everybody, we will keep y'all in our prayers. I promise you. And we will. I will tell Medina. And sure, yes, your father did talk to Ted Bundy. That's unbelievable in itself, right there. That's just, man. I tell you, he needs to write a book. I'm telling you, be a bestseller, no doubt. And we will see you on Tuesday. We will keep everybody in our prayers. I will talk to Dina about the ones we mentioned. And if you send us an email and give us their names and everything, it's the missing live stream at Gmail. We will sure remember them in our prayers. We sure will. Everybody stay safe and healthy. And we will see you on Tuesday. And somebody, I don't have another out thing, so I'm just going to play that one I put together the other day. I know you could probably get tired of my pups, but it just helps me put my little thing. I started too soon, but so we love you. We really do. Be praying for you, and y'all have a great weekend. Good night.
Go get wood. Go get wood. Come on. Get the wood. Bring it here, Maggie. Bring it here. Good girl. Let's load it in the fire. Good girl. Look at you. Man, can you take it in the house? Come on. Take it in the house. Come on. Bring it in. Oh, almost. Can you get it? Can you get it? Bring it in.
Get your wood and bring it in. Jojo won't leave you alone. Get your wood and bring it in. Get the wood. No, Jojo's fine.